Hello and welcome back to the Eurovoxx Podcast, the place where we will be discussing all things Eurovision. And coming up today, we've already heard the 10 predicted qualifiers for semi-final 1. We're doing it all again for semi-final 2. But first, let's introduce the two people that will be going on this semi-final 2 journey with me, both two Eurovoxx members. One of them is British, but half the time it does feel like she's honorary Estonian. And the other person is the rude person who kicked me off the show a couple weeks ago to host. It is Polly and Jana. How are you both?
Hi, good.
Good.
Jana, how does it feel to be in the guest seat this time? You're actually under my
Exciting.
control.
I'm afraid for the game.
You're afraid. You're afraid of the game. I purposely removed all controls, so you cannot physically kick me out of this podcast.
We
this
will
time
see,
round.
Harry.
No, we will not see. No, how dare you? But first, let's kick things off with the 3 questions. We always ask guests these 3 questions. So let's start with you, Jana. What was your first Eurovision like?
Oh my god. My first Eurovision was 2009, long time ago. It was my fairy tale one. It was such a good year. I loved the 2000s. I think Jess will agree with me. Amazing year. So much quality. It was great.
It was probably, out of the 2000s, that was definitely one of, if not the best year. And it was good for us as well, because we came 5th. So it was a good year for the UK. that was the last time we came top 10 before last year. That's concerning. And Polly, what was your first Eurovision?
My first Eurovision was actually 2006. When Lordi won, and they was terrifying to me as a 6-year-old kid. But I remember just completely falling in love with the contest. After that, I watched it every year with my family, and I agree with Jana. I think the 2000s are the best too.
Yay.
Fair enough. I've been outvoted in my.
You're too young, Harry.
Yes, fine. But I mean, to be fair, some people get drawn in for Eurovision through the music, some with the staging. Polly was clearly fear. That's how she got into the contest.
Yeah.
She was so scared and was like, I need to see more of this scaredness. It's marvelous. So the second question, Polly, we'll come to you first. What is your favourite Eurovision entry of all time?
My favourite Eurovision entry of all time is Cooler by Lemland, which was Estonia's 2012 entry. And it's one of the most beautiful songs I have actually ever heard. It's stunning. And the way he delivers it on stage, he's just so elegant. And I think he deserved a lot more that year.
It's effortless style, honestly. It's singing. I remember hearing his song in ST Lao 2022 as well. It's like, I think after I heard that, I was like, he could read out a Chinese takeaway menu and it would still be incredible.
He would.
Like, honestly, such a good song. And Jana, what is your favorite song of all time?
Okay, first of all, I love Kula as well. Such a good song. Probably my favorite from Estonia. I have 2 favorite entries, so I have to name both. So
Are you
first
cheating?
of all, no. It's Italy because I love Italy. Fiumi di Parole from the 90s. Such a good song. And then, of course, Serbia, Oro, Jelena Tomasevic. Such a good entry. Oh my god.
From 2012?
2008.
12? Oh, 2008.
No. 12 was Shelko. How can you forget that, Harry?
I am just useless with some names. With certain countries, it's like I'll hear the song and I'll know it. But I was like, oh yeah, it's 2008. Both fantastic entries, and I appreciate the love of ballads from both of you. That is music to my ears. And then the final question, I will say in hyphenated comments, is the guest question. We always ask our previous guest to send in a question. Obviously, we had 2 guests on last time, so I decided both of them can send in questions. So we're cheating the 3-question format a bit here. We're going to do 4 questions this week. So the first one comes in from Nick, and we'll start with Jana. Jana, what is your favorite Eurovision costume of all time?
That's really hard. I never thought about that. It's probably one of the dresses if we go for like beautiful costumes. But I also really like Lordi because it just stood out so much. Like, I'm probably going for Lordi here.
What do you mean costumes with Lordi? That is just their natural
course.
look. They are demons, of course. Like, this is natural fact, guys. Come on, don't elude the curtain and the break kayfabe, as we'll say in various terms. Polly, what's your favorite costume?
I'm gonna go with an Estonian entry again, and it's
Really?
Alina Nechayeva.
Oh, fair
2018.
enough.
That dress was incredible.
Yeah,
that was the. I didn't see any of the pre-parties or anything like that before 2018. I watched the show and I was just like, oh my gosh, she feels like she's about 8 foot up in the air or even higher. I was like, How big is this dress? Jeez. Yeah, it was definitely something. And we'll go on to Sanya's question now. We'll start with Polly. So, Polly, if you could get a tattoo of any Eurovision song lyric, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
It is a good question. I must say I was thinking through this.
But obviously I'm going to say, I think, because I've already got 2 other Odd Lepland songs tattooed on me, I'd have to go with Cooler as well. I'd have to have the whole set.
In my head, I was like, when I saw that question, I was like, Polly's definitely got something Estonian already tattooed on her, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And Jana, what is your selection here?
Okay, I can't really think of any lyrics right now, but I would probably go for either something Greek or something Serbian, Croatian. Probably Croatian, yeah.
Which Mama Sh tattooed.
No!
Somewhere.
Or maybe lyrics from Lia Patena or something, because they're really beautiful.
What year was that?
2009, Harry.
I'm rubbish with names. I know years and countries. That's why. Maybe. To be fair, this all bodes well for the game later, Jana. As long as you connect it to certain years, you're fine. Well, as long as you can connect it to certain years, you're fine. But yeah, absolutely. So now we come to the main portion, semi-final 2 predictions, and me, Jana, and Polly, like with semi-final 1, and my 2 guests have ranked all the songs from 1 to 16 on most likely to qualify to least likely to qualify. So this is not our actual personal top 16. This is our predicted top 16. Before we get on to the results, let's take a quick recap on the 16 songs competing in semi-final 2.
I'm not scared to love you. I'm scared of breaking my heart. If we could go back to the start, if we still be falling apart. I decide to be good, I decide to be good, I decide to be
what they say. Lost souls make sure no one loses their way. Hurt ones can't stand still.
Now I'm better solo, solo. I never let me down, diddy down, down, down. Now I'm gonna show you what it is you're missing out.
Mi pomocy ono plesali, lubili sense igrali. Kod danas jutri već ne bomo šteli do zore.
So they were the 16 songs competing in semi-final 2. So what we're going to do, like with semi-final 1, we're going to go from 1 to 10 in the order, most likely in our minds, to not least likely, but 10th most likely, our last qualifier. Rather than doing it random, it adds a bit of suspense near the end. I must say, if you got not bored in the last episode, that's not the right word, but if it got a little bit predictable in semi-final 1, because to be fair, we agree, me, Sanya and Nick, who were lovely guests, were amazing to have them on the show, we agreed on 9 of them. So I do appreciate that a lot of the time it was just us going, yeah, we agree with this, we agree with this. I can assure you from looking at these rankings, this will not be the case for semi-final 2. There are some crazy contrasting predictions for half of these, and I can't wait to get into them. But first, let's go into in our minds, the most likely qualifier from this semi-final. And the first potential qualifier we have, or should I say, potential qualifier, Austria! So that was Teya and Salena with Who the Hell is Edgar? In our minds, the most likely qualifier combined. I have this as my number 1, most likely. Polly, you've got this at number 3. Yana, you've got this at 2. So all very high up. Polly, why do you feel this is most likely going to be in the final come May?
It's so catchy and it sticks in everyone's heads. Like, how many times have you had the Po part stuck in your head since it got released? Like, nearly every day I just have that in my head. And I think that's just going to stick in people's minds. It's memorable. And I think the girls are really charismatic as well. So that helps too.
Very charismatic. And Yana, obviously, Austria are on a bit of a non-qualification streak. They've not qualified, I believe, the last 3 years. So it feels a bit weird that we've got someone with that non-qualification streak is the most likely. But this feels justified, doesn't it?
I have to say, Austria is my least favorite Eurovision country. But this year, they really approved. This song is really clever. It's actually genius. What they did with the lyrics as well. There are so many messages within the song. And I saw them at pre-parties. They are really good live. So, I mean, I definitely think this is going to qualify. It's catchy, as Polly already said. It sticks in your head. It's so good lyrics-wise. And yeah, they're really good live. And yeah, it's a really interesting song. We never had something like this before, so...
Are you telling me we've not had a song called Who the Hell is Edgar in Eurovision, Yana? I refuse to believe that.
Not
I haven't
that I
fact-checked.
remember.
I haven't fact-checked it, but yeah, that
Who
might. No,
knows?
I'm kidding. Who knows? Maybe one in maybe a long translated Italian one from the 50s was actually called that. We'll find out. But yeah, who would have thought that after hearing the crystal ball snippet all those months ago that this would be such a sure qualifier and such a beloved entry?
Yeah, we
in
actually
people's
talked about
minds.
that. Yeah, so I talked with Teya and Salena about the snippet, and they were not so happy about the snippets. But in
I
the
can
end,
imagine. Yeah.
it worked out well for them. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many complaints at this stage for them. Both lovely people, both really good live as well, with their performances in London and Madrid and Amsterdam were the ones they did. Am I missing any?
Yeah.
Possibly. Well, no, maybe. Who knows? But this is, as Yana said, this song's genius. It really is. It's so cleverly thought out, which I refuse to believe that Teya and Salena were just riffing on lyrics when it came to this. Like this is so carefully thought out, but it's brilliant, fun, funny, serious message behind it, catchy as hell. This is the one where I'm like, I mean, it's first in the odds to qualify as well from this semi-final. I see this sailing through, got a great running order. There's really not much to say about this. This is excellent stuff, and I expect big things in May. So let's move on to our second predicted qualifier. And that, obviously, as I said, Austria is first in the odds when it comes to Eurovision World and the predicted stuff. I don't think any of the other stuff we have in this 10 actually is the same as the odds.
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy. But our second predicted qualifier, most likely, is Slovenia.
Mi pomoci ono plesali, ljubili se igrali, ko danes jutri več ne bo.
So that was Joker Out with Carpe Diem, our second most likely qualifier in our minds. I had this at number 2, actually. Polly, you've got this a bit lower down in 5. But Yana, we're going to kick things off with you because you've got this as your most likely qualifier from semi-final 2. Care to explain why?
Yeah, I mean, we only have televoting in the semifinal, and this is a televoting magnet, I think. People love them so much. Like, they are so charismatic as a band. This song also sticks to your mind when you listen to it. It's just like, da 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 da. You have it in your head all day. I don't know. It will definitely qualify because I think this live version is even better than the studio version. I remember in the beginning they put the live version out first. It was so good. And I'm not even listening to the studio version. When I want to listen to the song, I'm listening to the live version. And also at all pre-parties, they've literally been to every single pre-party. They were always delivering. They were always so good. So no doubt they will be great live and May as well. And I think they're definitely going to qualify.
Yeah, and Polly, you've got this a bit lower, but a fairly safe qualifier in your opinion?
Yeah, definitely. I think, as Jana said, it's catchy. It's definitely a televote friendly song, and they've completely slayed in all of the pre-parties. So I don't think we have to worry about them live at all. I just think it's very televote friendly, and it's definitely going to go through. I think it's really catchy and fun as well.
It's catchy, fun. Joker. The only criticism I'd say with Joker Out is they maybe need to sober up before Liverpool itself, because I think they had a blast. I think it seemed at a lot of the pre-parties.
Let's say Bojan.
But yes, let's single him out specifically. Why not? But look, they're a bundle of fun. Joker Out. Such fun energy on this stage, very upbeat, great quality song as well. One of the best things Slovenia have sent in years, in my opinion. And to be fair, I don't actually think this is going to come in second place. But when I'm looking at this, it's like it's not my actual ranking where I think each song's going to come. It's who I think's most likely going to be in. I don't see a world where Slovenia is not in the final. As we saw with the stage performance, the live in EMA, it's a really elevated live. I think this would have been a great show closer as well, if it happened, but still a decent running order slot for them. And yeah, I think Slovenia is going to be back in the final, and I think they could definitely challenge for left-hand side of the leaderboard as well. So let's move on to our third most likely qualifier now. And I think this is one where one person in particular might be quite happy to see this high up. This is definitely not as high up in the actual odds, but our third most likely qualifier, according to us, is Estonia. So that was Alika with Bridges, Estonia's entry for this year. I've got this at a third most likely, actually. How long will it take for Polly and Yana to realise this is just my ranking, really? Their one's not actually, their one's not impacting it whatsoever. No, I'm kidding, of course. We'll get onto some different stuff in a sec. Yana, you've got this actually a bit lower down in 8th, still a qualifier. But Polly, I mean, we've gone through mine and Yana's most likely to qualify, in our opinions. Why is Estonia your one?
Wow, where do I start? I mean, this is one of the best Estonian entries we've had since the start of the 2020s, in my opinion. She has a beautiful voice. The song is so classy, it's elegant. I mean, with the piano, like the self-playing piano, it's really unusual. We've never seen that at Eurovision. It's a ballad, but it has so much more to it. And I think the televoters will appreciate it for what it is. And we've seen her live at the pre-parties as well. She's got an incredible voice, and I just can't fault it at all.
No, I mean, that's so much praise for Estonia there. Let's balance it out a bit. Yana, what are your thoughts on Estonia?
Well, first of all, she's definitely going to qualify. Like, I'm pretty sure about that because we don't have many ballots this year. So it's already one point where she's standing out. I just personally didn't rank it that high because I think other songs have a bit more potential. They are a bit more unique, maybe. But for a ballad, it's really good. And yeah, she's definitely going to qualify.
Yeah, to be fair, I've mocked Polly a bit for how high in number 1 she's got this in her ranking, but I've got this at 3, to be fair, which is a little bit different as well to the odds, which I think they have this like 7th, 8th.
Yeah.
But when I watch Alika perform, she's naturally charismatic with this performance. She commands attention when you watch her. She got total control, and I think all of those qualities just stand out regardless of how big the stage is, what they're going to bring. I'd imagine it'll be something similar to Esti Lau, maybe
Yeah.
slightly elevated. But there's a lot of stuff going right here. Again, not many ballads, so this will stand out. And I think it's a beautiful song. It really sticks in your head. The gorgeous vocal Alika has as well. And Estonia have got a good qualifying record overall. They've qualified with a bit worse, I think. So, well, 2011. But so yeah, no, not in the head. Do you like that one, or is it
What was 2011?
Rockefeller Street?
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, but it's Junior Eurovision, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about bridges, and yeah, similar to Estonia, not to Estonia, to Slovenia. Sorry, there's not many worlds where I don't see this qualifying. I'm not sure if it will actually come in third, but it will be in the top 10 in many different worlds that I have for this semi-final. So yeah, Estonia, our third one in. So we now come to our fourth most likely qualifier, and this is where it actually starts to get interesting, because believe it or not, only 2 of the 3 of us actually think this one is going to qualify. So, our fourth most likely qualifier is Iceland. So that was Delia with Power, Iceland's song for this year, which we think is actually our fourth most likely qualifier. Going a bit against the odds here, and as we said, 2 of the 3 of us think this is going through. Polly, you have this at number 4. Jana, you've got this at 3. We'll come on to me in a sec, but let's start with the positivity. Polly, you've got this at 4. Explain why you think that this is a fairly confident qualifier.
I think it's really unusual compared to the other. I don't know if you would call it a ballad or not. It's really unusual compared to the other ballads we have this year. I think she'll really stand out. She has fantastic stage presence. Like we saw that in Song for Kebnin. Like she's fantastic on stage. She's got a great voice. And the song itself is catchy too. So I'm hoping, and I think it will catch the attention of the televoters.
Yeah, and Jana, you're even more confident. You've got this in 3rd place. Why do you think it's a safe qualifier?
Yeah, I mean, Polly said a lot already, and I completely agree. She has so much charisma, especially on stage. She's quite young. She's a newcomer, but she acts like she owns the stage. It's especially important for that song called Power. And she has a lot of power, especially on the stage. So this is going to qualify. And it's not similar to the other songs. It also stands out in a different way. She's really good live. She can sing. And that whole song is also so catchy. So they can do a lot performance-wise as well and staging-wise. So I'm really excited to see what they will do.
Right. So I've got this in at 11th. I don't think this is qualifying. I want to be wrong so badly with Iceland. And I'm thrilled that you both have this so high. Because I love this song. It's in my top 10 for this year. Delia has probably the best female vocal, in my opinion. Her vocal is out of this world, especially for how young she is. Absolutely bonkers as well in a great way. Love seeing her on pre-parties and interviews. It's just, I fear with this song that if it's not staged correctly, it might get lost in the shuffle a bit. Like, I'm weirdly, despite how high up with this, I'm more reflecting the odds. For some reason, this has this, I believe the odds have this at 14th to qualify, very low. I don't agree with that statement. I think it's much more like borderline than that has it out to be. But I feel like there's a potential that she might get lost on the stage. The staging could become quite bare, because I do think they need to change a few things from the national final performance, elevate it a bit. And it's like, it's one of those where I think it might just miss out, especially in a televote only system, where Iceland is not necessarily known for having like terrible televote, but they're not known for also being saved by it as well. So it's one of those which I want to be wrong about this a lot. Every time I see a performer, I'm like, please qualify. But when I was doing my list, it was the one that just missed out. But it's great to see that there's this polarizing thing. I really hope that you two are correct on this. And yeah, hopefully Delia is going through to the final, despite what I say. So let's come to the 5th and final qualifier of this half of songs. And the 5th qualifier, in our opinion, is another country that is going on a little bit of a bad qualification streak. It is Georgia. So that was Eru with Echo, Georgia's entry for this year. Weirdly, so we have this combined as our 5th most likely, but not one of us has this 5 or higher in our ranking for semi-final 2. This is how insane the second part of this list will be. So I've got this at number 7. Polly, you've got this at 8. Yana, you've got this at 6. So Yana, you're the most confident on this one out of us 3, but it is fairly similar. So Yana, why do you think that Georgia is heading back to the final after many years away?
To be fair, I think if she would be placed in semi-final 1, she would not be a sure qualifier for me. But in semi-final 2, which is weaker in my opinion, she can definitely qualify. Her vocals are insane. She's one of the best vocalists this year for sure. My only issue with the song are the lyrics. I mean, they are just words thrown together. But I really like this song. I actually listen to it almost every day, and her live performance is so good. Also at the pre-parties, she knows what she's doing on stage, and she's quite young, but she was also at Junior Eurovision, so she knows the business. And yeah, I think it will qualify. It's really good.
Yeah, and Polly, where do you think Georgia is going to get into the final?
I agree completely with what Yana said as well. She's amazing on stage in the pre-parties. The song itself, I think it is definitely unusual. We don't have anything like it this year or anything like the lyrics of this song this year. And it will stand out. And if her staging is anything like the music video, it's definitely going to catch the eyes of people. And I think she'll definitely qualify.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have seen Eurovision, this Eurovision meme channel on Instagram, where
Yeah.
it's someone has edited all the different names on the Wikipedia, and
Mm.
for Georgia's lyrics, it's just a load of question marks, which I thought was absolutely
So,
brilliant.
yeah.
To be fair, live you can understand the lyrics a little bit more, which is absolutely that's what you need to do, because you're only going to hear it live actually for semi-final 2, so it doesn't matter as much. The mixing isn't as good in the music video, but overall, as much as we're criticizing and joking about the lyrics, this is one of the best things Georgia has sent in years. I think that more says about what they previously sent personally, but it's still really good quality. Eru, seasoned performer despite being so young, again because of her junior Eurovision experience. It's a very ethnic but still a decent universal sound. My one worry with this is, and I said this when we first reviewed this song, is will Western audiences connect to it? Because there's a few different elements there which aren't as flowing as will connect with people from the UK, maybe from France, Belgium. It's not a typical thing you'd hear in radio, I think, in those countries. It's very much Georgian sound in that sense. So that does concern me. However, there are enough countries from that side of the world where that won't matter as much in semi-final 2. Eru's got great vocals. I don't think that's to debate. Her pre-party performances have been really, really good, really stand out. And this has got hype online as well. There are some people that really love this song. So hopefully they'll be connecting with Georgia and voting for them in semi-final 2. And it'll be nice to see a country like Georgia hopefully back in the final where we all have them.
And now it's time for... Okay, we gotta go. 30 seconds.
So now it's time for another edition of OK Gotta Go 30 Seconds, inspired by our Golden Boy from 2015. So for those that are new to the show, or for Yana and Polly, I have 43 countries that have all recently-ish taken part in the contest and randomly assigned them a number. When it is their go, Yana and Polly will have to pick a number between 1 and 43, and then they will have 30 seconds to name that country's entries in reverse chronological order. They can either give me the song title, or they can sing a famous part of the song. They will have 2 lifelines each. The first one is country restart. If they are completely stuck on a country, they can immediately say another number and go from that list there. And then the other one is year check. They can clarify what year they are on at any point by basically asking me. They can only use both of these lifelines once each. If they run out of entries, and the more I do this game, the more optimistic that sentence becomes. If they run out of entries, they can immediately say another number and go from there. This does not count as their country restart. The example I always say is Australia have a fairly small amount of entries, so realistically you could go through all of them. The 2020 entries do count. That's the only other rule that you might need to know. Yana and Polly, what are your thoughts beforehand? Excited, nervous, all of the
Let's
above?
go.
Nervous.
Nervous. Yana, I'm sure you thought you escaped this game when you
I'm
hosted
not
the
gonna do
episode.
well.
But I not purposely brought you back for that, but I was like, you ain't escaping this. You kicked me off my show. You have to suffer through this. So let's quickly look at the leaderboard before we actually get on to your attempts. There have been 11 people taking part. The scores overall aren't great, I'll say that. Tied for last place with 1 point, and all three of them used a lifeline, was Louise from Eurovision, Nick, and Sarah. In 7th place, tied with 1 but didn't use a lifeline. Yes, roughly 50% of the people have only got 1 on this game. It is Jess and Sanya. Tied for 5th place with 3, it is Dom and Twan. Tied for 3rd place with 4, it is Connor from Eurovision and Dorota. In 2nd place with 5, it is Roy from ESC United. And out with a healthy lead, in 1st place with 11, it is Stu.
11.
11. Yes, everyone is shocked when they say 11. And so am I, the more I do this game. So your time will start when you hear your country, and your time will end when you hear the following.
Okay, hit the end.
Always love playing that.
Black Queen.
I am going to flip a coin to decide who goes first. I'm going to say heads, Yana, tails, Polly.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh no.
It is tails, so Polly. Yana is thrilled right now.
Oh, I'm buzzing.
Yeah, Polly loves it. So, Polly, can you pick a number between 1 and 43?
13.
Okay. 13. So I'm just getting the list of countries that you are going to have to entries, that you're going to have to do now. So, Polly, you will have 30 seconds to name, and I genuinely cannot believe this, Estonia. Go.
No.
Oh.
2022, Alika Malova Bridges. 2021. Oh. 2023, Alika Malova Bridges. 2022, Stefan Hope. 2021, Uku Suvista, the lucky one. 2020, Uku Suvista, What Love Is. 2019, Victor Crone, Storm. 2018, Alina Nechayeva, La Forza. 2017.
Hit the end.
We're stopping there.
Oh my god.
How lucky can you get? You've got a 1 in 43 chance to get the country that everyone knows Polly won in Estonia. Let's be real
Yeah.
here.
And 13's my lucky number.
I as soon as you said 13, I was like, how the hell did you get that?
I'm so glad I messed the years up. I was like, no.
The years don't matter. You should have just kept going with song titles. Like you didn't have to specify the year.
Oh.
When you started with 2023, I was like, oh god, are you going to go through this whole thing for getting the first one? But thankfully, you said Bridges. I mean, you even showed off a bit. You didn't have to say the artist name for each of them, Polly, but you did anyway.
Oh.
Like, you maybe slightly wasted time in that front by saying that. Oh well. I mean, with that lucky but still very good performance, you scored a total of 6, which does put you in 2nd place overall.
Good
How
job.
do you feel, Polly?
Oh my god.
How do you feel, Polly, with that?
I'm kind of proud of that, considering I made an absolute meal of it. But yeah.
Well, I was worried. I was like, "Oh God, are you going to embarrass yourself slightly here by this long pause and forgetting?" But you still, still a very good attempt. And yeah, up into 2nd place, Yana.
No.
Let's move over.
No.
We're coming to you now,
No,
Yana.
it's even worse.
Hey, who knows? You might get incredibly lucky as well and get the country that you really want.
No.
For the audience's sake, what would be the one that you would want?
Maybe Croatia. I don't know. I'm
Maybe
bad with all
Croatia.
of them because I'm bad with years. So
Okay. For obvious reasons, you cannot say 13 because you obviously know what number that is. So any other number, 1 to 43, what would you like?
yeah, I'm going for my lucky number 14.
14 is your lucky number. Okay, let's
We
get
will see.
that country's list
shit.
up. So, Yana, you will have 30 seconds to name as many entries from Montenegro. Go.
F. Okay, another country because
What?
I forgot the
Never
first
know.
one.
Number, go. Quickly, give me a number.
What?
Do you want to give me a number?
16.
16. Israel, go.
Okay, this year, okay, no, okay, I only can't love the song. Last year we had not Eden. It was, what was this song called? I know the song, but I forgot the title. Oh my god, I am.
Yeah,
I am.
yeah.
Then we had Eden.
Okay, happy end.
Well, yeah. What was
Car
Montenegro's first?
Breathe
Love.
by Vladana was the one you were looking for.
No.
Yes.
That's embarrassing.
You know what? Before the show, off camera, Yana was saying to me, I'd really like a Balkan country. I think
Yeah.
that was the one you didn't want, yeah?
I like Montenegro at Eurovision, especially in 2000s. Could we start in the 2000s? I could do that.
No, we cannot do a 2000 special just for you, Yana.
Oh.
Oh, God. And you also briefly forgot the rules where I was like, you've got to immediately say another number, otherwise
Yeah.
I can't give you a country, but I can't just give you another number one.
Yeah, I noticed
You've got
that.
to tell me. The next one you were looking for with Israel was Set Me Free. That was
Yes.
who you were
yes,
going for
yes,
there.
yes.
You know what's slightly bad, Yana? The thing is, you scored 2 points, which
Yeah, I'm not last
puts
place.
you ahead. Which puts you ahead of 5 other people that have taken part in this game.
Mhm.
It puts you into 8th place, and 13 people have done it. That seems far too high and generous for a score of 2.
I
But
could have
it's
seen the other entries, like Kobe, Home, and stuff, and Fikali B. Oh,
to be fair, there's always a barrier in knowledge when it
Yeah.
comes to these countries, where it's like if you got past that, you're absolutely fine. But
boy.
yeah, I mean, if I take away the score, if I take away the numbers, your position doesn't look too bad on the leaderboard. Like it's not. Right. So let's have a quick look at this leaderboard. Actually, so still in last place, tied for 11th now with 1 and use the lifeline. Which for a brief second, because you couldn't get I thought you were going to join this list in a sec. Yeah. Thankfully, you got that one. But Louise from Eurovision, Nick, and Sarah all remain down at the bottom there. In tied for 9th now with 1, but didn't use a lifeline, is Jess and Sanya. In 8th place, a new entry with 2 out on her own. No ties for her. It is Yana. In 6th place, joint tied with 3, Dom and Twan. 4th place tied with 4. It is Connor from Eurovision and Dorota. 3rd place with 5, it is ESC United's Roy. A new 2nd place silver medal, it is Polly with 6, but still miles out in front. I don't know how he got 11. It is Stuart. And that concludes another edition of OK, Gotta Go 30 Seconds. So now let's resume our semi-final 2 qualifiers. So far we have Austria, Slovenia, Estonia, Iceland and Georgia in our hypothetical final. Let's move on to, in our minds, the 6th most likely qualifier. And in our heads, that is Lithuania. So that was Monika Linkite with the song Stay, Shuto Tuto, Lithuania's representative for this year. Now, I was looking forward to this one because, first of all, let's get my normal one out the way. I've got this in 6th, so actually where we've got this here. So let's get me out the way. There we go. I think this is a fairly safe one. Polly, you've got this at number 2, very high up. Meanwhile, Yana over here. Do you care to say where you have to Polly, who's a massive fan of this song, where you think you had this in your projected top 16 most likely to qualify?
No, I won't. I just think we have bridges.
No, you will. You will though, Yana, because we need to do it for the admin. Where do you have this?
Not in my
in your rank?
qualifiers.
Specifically.
It's my 14th.
14th for Yana. Go on, and care to explain why you don't have this in your qualifiers?
Okay, so this is my prediction, okay? This is not my personal taste.
Defending yourself first,
don't
of course.
hate
Go on.
the song. My issue is only that we already have a quite similar ballad. We have Bridges, and I think she will qualify. And 2 similar ballads, I'm not too sure, and they are both from the Baltic countries. I'm not sure how well she will do. I was also not really flashed after the national final. It was nice to see, nice to watch, but it did not really have any impact on me. Like, I was watching it live, I was like, okay, it's a nice song. I like the Tuto Tuto, it's really cute. She's a lovely person. Song-wise, I'm not too sure. I'm not sure. She might be a borderline qualifier, but I can't really see her higher.
Now, I'm sure this wasn't intentional, but for people that couldn't see, Polly had a very resty, moody face there, like she was going to kill Yana throughout that entire
Sorry.
sentence there. Let's go to the polar opposite then. Polly, you've got the second most likely qualifier in this semi-final. Care to explain?
I think actually she will appeal to the televotes. Obviously, we don't have jury in this semi-final because it is more ethnic than the other ballads, bar Georgia, if you class that as a ballad. I don't really know if it is. And the whole Tuto Tuto thing, it is like a Lithuanian folklore kind of thing. So I think that's really cute that she's brought that back. And I think that will appeal to people as well. And everyone loves gospel. Like, she has like a mini gospel choir and everyone loves it. Loves a gospel choir, so I think that's gonna.
Yana shaking her head there.
I
Let's
hate
block
gospel
her out.
so much.
There.
Sorry.
Why did we invite her on, Polly? Right. While you two fight in the background and sort yourselves out, I'll be the healthy middle and describe why I think overall this is a qualifier for me. To be fair, and this is definitely a healthy middle. This isn't like ridiculously high up in my personal ranking. It's a solid entry. It's good. I think there was a couple of better songs personally in the Lithuania national final. That being said, Monica, more than many other people in this time between the songs were announced to now, has impressed me a lot at the pre-parties. I think her vocals have been really good. She's had some standout performances, in my opinion. In London with all the choir, it was a lovely moment. And yeah, this seems like it has enough of a universal sound to get through to the final fairly convincingly. I've got this sixth. I'm fairly confident this will be in there. Diaspora as well will help with a televote-only system. Lithuania's got UK voting in this semi-final. Australia, I believe, sometimes given points as well. No Ireland, but there's enough there, absolutely. Monica's also got a great running order spot for second to last. It will help, especially with ballad, it will help stick people's minds. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. Do I think this will do as well as their previous two results, which were 13th and top 10? Possibly not, but in the final, yes, I do see this in the final. So now we move on to the seventh potential qualifier in our minds. And this is just for Yana and Polly. I'm going to do a little visual aid. I wonder who our projected seventh qualifier might be. For those that can't see, I'm holding a flag that I am half of. It is Australia.
Promise me it's gonna be alright.
So that was Voyager with Promise, Australia's entry for this year's Eurovision. And me and Yana actually have this both a bit higher. We've got this 5th place in our ranking. So, Polly, so we've got this 5th. Why is this a bit lower then? Please care to explain.
It's one of those songs where personally I do like it, but I just don't know how it's going to appeal to the public, because rock songs are quite hit and miss at Eurovision, and I just don't know how it's going to connect with the audience. I just don't know how the voting public are going to feel about it, and it also depends what they're going to be like live, their staging, that all plays into it, which obviously we don't know yet. So that's why I was a bit unsure this one will qualify.
Yeah, just to clarify, Polly had this in 12th place in our ranking, so outside of the top 10. Meanwhile, let's go to some positivity here, some qualifying thoughts. Yana, you've got this in 5th. Where do you see the show closer going to the final?
So for me, it's the complete other way around. So because we only have televote in the semi-final, I think it's perfect for them, because rock songs usually do better with the televoting than with the juries. I think juries would not give that many points to this one. But I don't know if you watched Australia Decide, wasn't it, last year?
Yes.
They were so good live. And it's not really my type of music. Like, I'm not really actively listening to it, also not on Spotify. They were so good. And also this year, the pre-parties, damn, they were really, really good live. They know how to play live. So they will be amazing on stage. I would not listening to it on Spotify, but live, wow, it's such a pleasure for the eyes as well. And we talked with them, and they might have some pyrotechnic coming out of the guitars and stuff. So I think there will be a lot going on, and I can't wait to see this live. And also, his vocals are really cool. The whole band is super fun. So it's not in my personal top 10, but I'm pretty sure they will qualify.
Oh, you were alluding to some secrets there, Yana, about the performance that we might be privy to come Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much on the same lines as Yana. When I first heard this song, I'm actually a bit surprised at how poorly received I think overall by the community this is. I think it's like on my Eurovision scoreboard, I don't think it's even in the top 25, which I think was incredibly harsh. I think this is a well polished, very good rock song, and I'm a rock boy, so I love this a lot. And yeah, their performances are always high energy, good quality vocals. And there's plenty of moments in this song for people to gravitate towards and remember, and that's key in Eurovision songs for televote and voting. There's moments there, which is why I think this will qualify. Again, if they have that pyrotechnics coming out of the guitar, which they need it desperately. I refuse their performance if it doesn't have it. But yeah, I think this is sailing through. It's a show closer as well, so you can imagine they'll have something quite spectacular up their sleeves. And yeah, I really cannot wait to see this live, and it'll be great for me as an Australian to see this through. One thing I will say, and probably people will point this out, is obviously it's a televote only system, so that does have some worries for Australia. What I will say to that in link to Australia is I'm pretty sure every year bar one that they've qualified, they would have qualified with the televote. So as long as their song's good enough, they will get. So now we move on to song 8 that we think will qualify, and we've had a couple now where we have 2 people have it through, 1 person doesn't. This one we are in unanimous agreement that this is gonna get through, so some love, some peace for a little bit of time. And our 8th qualifier actually has a link to the last one, and the fact that he is an Aussie. It is Cyprus. So that was Andrew Lambrou with Break a Broken Heart, Cyprus's entry for this year, and our 8th projected qualifier from semi-final 2. So I actually have this quite a bit higher than Polly and Yana. I've got this as the 4th most likely, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Polly and Yana dragging the score down of this, really. Apologies to Cyprus fans. Polly's got this in 9th, Yana has this in 10th. So we've all got this as qualifiers, but Yana, you've got this as more of a borderline, don't you?
Yeah, for me it's a bit difficult to predict because I have not seen him live yet. Because all the other artists have been to pre-parties, but he hasn't. So it's really hard for me to tell how good he is. I mean, I was watching his TikToks and stuff, so he has a really good voice. I think he will do great live, but I just don't know yet. I need to see this live on stage with the performance and the staging, and then he might do well, yes. But right now I just really can't tell, so it's borderline for me because I have no clue.
And Polly, are you of a similar mindset to Yana in this?
Yeah, 100%. I think we do need to be able to see it live and see him perform it at a pre-party or something to at least predict how we think people will vote and gauge the crowd's reaction, because at the moment we have no idea. We're just kind of going off odds or our own personal feelings at the moment. I think really it could be hit or miss. If it qualifies, it'll be just in.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, actually, we're looking at the odds. Cyprus is actually doing very well in the odds. I believe it's 4th most likely to qualify according to Eurovision World. So I'm just matching the odds. I'm just that's how I did it. I just looked at the odds. No, I'm kidding. But with this, obviously, you said we haven't heard him live. We have actually heard him live in Eurovision Circus. We heard him live in Australia Decides with his other entry, Electrify.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that wasn't great. It was very stagnant and didn't suit the song, but it's a different style of song that he's sending this year. It's more ballady compared to the dance style, which I don't think fit him really very well. This is also a better quality song than Australia Decides, in my opinion. What this song has is a universal sound. Like, I think a lot of people around the world, it's almost very Swedish in a way, which people in the community will bash. And to be fair, Swedish people wrote this song, but it gets results as long as it's done well enough. And this is done well enough. If Andrew can hit the notes, I don't see many issues. I think Cyprus will also bring quite an ambitious staging. This is coming after likely a break, being in slot 6, if we assume that they'll roughly break it up into sections of 5/6. So this could have something ambitious, and I do have a lot of good faith in Cyprus. Like even last year, their staging, it didn't work, but it was very ambitious and it was daring. Cyprus do like to bring that, and yeah, I think Andrew gets Cyprus back into the final and fairly convincingly as well. And worst case scenario, they do have a 12-point head start because Greece are in the semi-final, of course. So now we move on to song number 9 as our projected qualifier. This is another one where we actually all agree, so don't worry, we'll get to some more indecision later. But this is actually one that is going to break a record, because for the first time since 2017, we believe that slot 2's Armenia will be in the final.
I decide to be good, do good, look good. I decide to be good, do good, look good. I decide to be good, do good, look good.
So that was Brunette with Future Lover, Armenia's entry for this year. And as we alluded to, if this does qualify, subject to if Malta breaks this record a couple of days earlier, which according to our predictions from the other episode won't happen, this will be the first time since 2017 where a song in slot 2 would have qualified for the final. But we believe all that will happen. I've got this actually in 9th place. Polly and Yanni, you've got this actually a little bit higher, but not a certainty. You've both got this in 7th. So, Polly, what are your thoughts on Armenia's qualification chances?
I think again it's an unusual song. It's an unusual format. Like she goes from like a ballad to like a rap verse and then more of a ballad again. And I think it will stick out to people, and I think it will appeal to a lot of people because it is really different. I love how she goes to Armenian at the end. I think it's really beautiful, and I think a lot of people will see that as well. So I'm hoping that it will appreciate, like the televoting audience will appreciate it.
And Yana, what are your thoughts on Armenia?
Yeah, I completely agree with Polly. I mean, there's a lot going on in the song. It's not really boring. I mean, it is a ballad, but then something is changing, and we have a bit of rap, as Polly already said. I think it's pretty cool. I personally don't like the beginning of the song. So when we had like the release, I was like, okay, that's not really my style. But then I had the rap, and that's so powerful. Also, her live performance at the pre-parties were one of the best, I would say. Her vocals were always on point. It was always really emotional during the song. So I think she needs a really good staging, though, for that song. Something really powerful, maybe dramatic. She's also a really good dancer, so I'm not sure if that's fitting to the song, but maybe parts of it, maybe, I don't know. We will see. Like, there are so many possibilities and options for that song for live, so yeah, I think she can do well.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite songs this year. It's in my top 5. So I want to be more confident in this because it's actually my favorite song in this entire semi-final. There's just so many factors where it's like it's doing well in the odds. So that does give me confidence. However, slot 2 concerns me, and it's not obviously it's just a number at the end of the day despite the qualification chances. However, it does imply a couple things considering it's a purposely put running order. Is the staging as ambitious or as good as potentially it might be intrigued? Is Brunette's vocals going to be as good live? Now, to be fair, that second one has sort of been answered in the pre-parties because I think her vocals are incredible. That being said, I think she needs to do more movement and choreographed stuff for the actual live in Liverpool than she is doing in the pre-party. So that could affect her vocal ability and if she's overthinking stuff. This is it's a great entry. I think it's amazing. I love the progression. I love the Armenia at the end, gives me goosebumps. And the music video adds a lot of promise to visual ideas. I don't know how many of them they're taking over to Liverpool. Again, it's that going back to that slot 2 thing. Because also in a televote only system, slot 2 being early does not help you whatsoever, because if it's not a memorable enough package, you are going to get forgotten. That being said, so I want this higher in my ranking. I want it much higher. I think it would just scrape through, and at the end of the day, that's all you need. So then hopefully you'll get a much better running order in the actual final. But yeah, Armenia hopefully will be in the final. So we've now covered 9 songs. There is 1 spot left, and there are 7 songs we haven't covered. I'm going to run through quickly 16 to 13. So, according to us, we don't agree on any of these, by the way, in terms of the ranking. But according to us, overall, Romania is the least likely to qualify from the semi-final. In 15th place is San Marino.
No.
This was meant to be a nice dramatic thing, Yana, but thank you very much for that. in 14th place, that's keeping in. In 14th place is Denmark, and in 13th place is Poland.
Baby.
So, yeah, this whole thing's gone to run. Unbelievable. So the reason I'm just going to move on. The reason I singled out those 4 is because those are the only 4 songs where we unanimously agree are not going to make the final. We've got them in varying positions in our ranking, but we agree none of them are through. So that means the 3 we have left are Albania, Belgium, and Greece. The funny thing is about all of these is, for each of these, 2 of us think they're qualifying and then 1 doesn't have it in. So, like, I don't know how the maths works there, because 2 of them aren't in the final, even though 2 of us think they're in. But we're going to cover all of them in a bit. Let's go on to the 10th qualifier. And according to us, the 10th and last qualifier in semi-final 2, Yana's face is a picture at this stage, because I know what one she wants through. I know what one she wants in. The 10th and final qualifier, according to us, is Belgium.
World got me going crazy. I carry on, and it's all because of you. Because of you.
So that was Gustaph with Because of You, Belgium's entry for this year, and in our opinions, the last qualifier from semi-final 2. So as I said, 2 of us have this in the final. I am one of them. I've got this as the 8th most likely. Polly, you've got this a bit higher with 6. Yana, you are not best pleased with these results. You've got this at number 11. Why do you think Belgium are just going to miss out?
11 is close to 10, so it's borderline for me as well.
Oh, if you just round it down, it's the same thing. It's easy.
No. I don't hate this song. I personally think it's a bit too old-fashioned, so especially younger people won't vote for this one. They have so many other options in this semi-final. So maybe if you're lucky, the older people are voting for this. Might be. It's like really 90s. So it's catchy. He's good live. He's a good performer. He's a lovely guy. Song-wise, I'm not sure. This is not really standing out in my opinion. Yeah, it's a bop. It's catchy, but that's it for me. So it's too old-fashioned, and also, yeah, I can't really predict it higher. So we will see.
Yeah, Polly, you've got this at 6 though, much higher in your thing. Are you fairly certain this is going to be in the final?
I think it's going to appeal to most people. It's catchy, it's a bop, like Yana said. And I think it will appeal to the older audience, maybe those who are around more in the 90s and was listening to that kind of music then, maybe even 80s. And he's so bright and flamboyant on stage, and I think that's going to stick in a lot of people's minds. And he's so charismatic and fun, and I think a lot of people will associate that with Eurovision and vote for him.
That's true.
Yeah, this is a hard one to call, because while I've got this in 8th, there's a broad range of positions I think this could come in the semi-final, because it's ridiculously fun. Song quality-wise, is it a masterpiece? No, it's not. But what Eurovision for some people is about just getting completely drunk and having fun to a load of dance pop songs. And Belgium is the definition of that this year. People are going to have it's going to be early on as well. And looking at the 4 songs before it, there isn't anything as fun and energetic as this. So this is really going to not wake people up, but it's really going to get them energized for the rest of the show. And I think this is going to be memorable. I'd imagine they'll keep something similar to the national final staging, which I think really works for this song. And this is slowly, since the national final, been getting a little bit more buzz, a little bit more and more. And this is one which I think, while Eurovision fans aren't appreciating it as much, this is a casual, first time you see it on the night, you're just going to have fun and you're going to remember it and vote for it. So that's why I think Belgium will sneak in. And to be honest, they could come a lot higher in a televote only system. Like, I could see this even coming like top 5 if the circumstances work out. This could be the maybe Moldova this year, where it just comes out of nowhere and does really, really well. Yana loves this idea from her facial expressions that she's doing while I say this. But let's talk quickly about Albania and Greece, because I want to explain the results here. So for those that haven't been keeping track, out of the 10 songs that we've got through, 9 of mine are the same as my projected 10. Polly, that's the same for Polly. Yana has 8. So, in 12th place, I'm going to do these back to back and then we can discuss both at the same time. In 12th place is Greece. Both Yana and me have this going through, but I've got this at 10, Yana's got this at 9, Polly's got this down in 14th. So that's why this wasn't getting through. And then 11th place, and you'll understand why in a sec, we're going to come to Yana first when we discuss this stuff, is Albania. So, Polly, you've got this in 10th, so you've just got this borderline.
Yeah.
I've got this in 14th. So, and Yana,
Okay.
you have this at 4th most likely to qualify for the final. This won't help you in any way, Yana, but the average, obviously the way I work this out is by doing an average of all the scores. This actually has got less than 10, but just the maths means it hasn't got into the top 10 here. Yana, what are your thoughts on this? Take it away.
No comments. I'm gonna bet on this song in May. No,
You're gonna But to be fair, overall, you do have Greece and Albania both as qualifiers rather than.
Okay, to be fair, Greece was borderline for me. I still don't know about Greece. He could qualify, he could not. I haven't seen him live yet, so I don't know. Albania, that's a different thing for me because I have seen him live like 2-3 times. They are so good live. Harry, you've seen him yesterday. Like
they weren't at London.
Oh.
So no, I haven't.
Oh, fair enough. Well, in that case, you need to see them live because their live is impressive. They are so. I mean, it's Albania, it's Balkan, it's dramatic, yes, but I love that. No, it's so good. It's so powerful. It's so emotional. Like this is probably the most emotional song this year. I can relate so much, but okay, this is not about my personal taste because yes, I have this high in my top, but I also predicted to qualify because it's something else. It's really ethnic and people love ethnic stuff. We saw that last year with Moldova. People love that. And yes, this is different. It's not a bop, it's more of a ballad. But we have the whole family together on stage. That's amazing. And there's so much going on. It's all completely in Albanian. People love native languages at Eurovision, like also the general audience. This is a televote song. I'm not sure if juries would vote for it that high, but I think televoting is giving them points. So they know how to sing. Yeah, they could improve the performance, yes. But they have time. They still have a few weeks. So
I have 2 weeks.
yeah, that's enough. So no,
that's enough. That'll do.
I mean, they already improved during the pre-parties. I remember the national final at Festival Käärijä in December. That was not so sure, but the pre-parties were so much better. I feel like the other parts of the other family members felt so much more comfortable on stage compared to December. So it's almost so much better now compared. So yeah, for me, they're a sure qualifier.
Well, sadly, that is not the case for either of us. Polly, even though Polly does have it in her top 10. Polly, overall, what are your thoughts on the borderline ones that we have here, Greece and Albania?
I think Greece is definitely going to get lost in everything else we have in this semi-final. I think it could be seen as boring because it doesn't really have much to it. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I think people will kind of overlook it. People will forget about it maybe until the recap. Whereas with Albania, like Yana said, is so different and the whole family idea is really amazing. And I think that is going to stick in people's minds. And I think the whole aspect of like their chemistry on stage is obviously amazing because they're a family. And their live performance is incredible. So I think they will qualify for sure.
So now come to me, the part where Yana will kill me. But so I'll go to Greece first. So I've got this borderline. There's so many potential songs that could qualify from the semi-final. I think this is wide open. Even some of the ones that we agree aren't qualifying, I think have a shot. Poland and Denmark, I think have an outside chance. However, when it comes to Greece, I think this will sneak in. First of all, it's a bit of a joke, bit serious. They've got a 12-point head start with Cyprus, and which, to be fair, in a televote only system, you're gonna need less points than in juries. So what the margin will be like in the 30s, 40s. They're probably about a quarter of the way there with just those points there from the diaspora. That being said, also, I think Victor is a charismatic performer. I think he knows the vision he wants for this song. It's not a masterpiece. It's not everyone's favorite or cup of tea. But I think the staging seems to maybe be ambitious. I think there's a reason they put this at the end of the first half. As much as it doesn't mean much, there's a little link there. So yeah, I see, as long as he has good vocals, which from what I've heard, he has solid enough vocals, nothing that will harm his chances. His inexperience might be an issue. Obviously, being only 16, being on a big stage could be a concern. But I think there's enough there. And Greece also have a good qualifying record as well. Like, they've only failed to qualify twice. So they could do a lot worse than I think this sneaking through. And then when it comes to Albania, look, when you think about it, Yana, we just got this in the same position. I've just got a 1 in front of mine. So it's really the same.
I could say something now, but I'm not.
Off camera. No, but with Albania, again, it's one of the ones where I think could qualify. I genuinely think it could qualify, as much as I've got it low. However, I worry, like you mentioned about Belgium being old-fashioned. As much as it's ethnic, this seems very old-fashioned for Eurovision. Like, this could work at Eurovision 10 years ago, maybe. But I'm not sure in 2023 that this is the correct sound they need to send. I know that from what I have seen videos of their pre-party performance, I haven't seen them live. They've slightly improved, but I think the overall family dynamic it's very off-putting. Like, Albina is the clear start, but then it's just some of the other family members are very awkward on stage, so that could put people off. I think it could also confuse people. Like, you've got this one dramatic, like, powerful singer, and then you've just got like, well, who are all these people which don't really look like, I'm sorry to be blunt, they don't really look like stars on stage. It just looks like they've been asked to come on stage with her. You know? This is being directed by Sacha Jean-Baptiste, which actually has a very good track record at qualifying for songs. So that could be a thing that helps them out. But in recent years, Albania have been borderline every year, even though they've got a good qualifying record. And this is, in my opinion, worse than some songs that they've sent. I just don't think that this isn't in a good spot. This isn't a good spot in the running order, I will say, near the end. I think at any stage near the end of a running order with a televote-only system, that will help them. But yeah, I'm not convinced. I think that overall, this will miss out, but I'm sure I'll get many messages and laughing emojis from you if this qualifies, Yana. I will. I'm sure of it. So that will do it for another episode of the Eurovoxx podcast. Just to recap, the songs that we believe are qualifying from semi-final 2 are Austria, Slovenia, Estonia, Iceland, Georgia, Lithuania, Australia, Cyprus, Armenia, and Belgium. Sorry, Yana, but Belgium was the last one.
No.
Thank you, Yana and Polly, for being such amazing guests. I've had an absolute blast speaking to you, genuinely. Yeah, why not? Let's laugh a bit through this outro. And yeah, this might be. What is that? For those that can't see, because it's going to
Yana is hitting you. You were rude.
Yana is hitting me virtually with a plastic wrapper. Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, I was just going to say this might be the last episode before the actual contest, and what a way to go out. Honestly, if this is the last episode before the actual contest, I hope you've all enjoyed these things before 2023. If this isn't the last one, then I'm sure I'll say all this spiel again, but for now, let's go on the assumption, considering the contest is only a couple weeks out, this might be. Yana and Polly, again, thank you so much for being amazing guests. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy the contest. It's the last time we see you before, but if not, join us for the next episode. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you later.